The Raiders have dropped Henry Ruggs following a deadly crash. He's facing some felony charges. It sounds like we do have his representative, his attorney, representing him, speaking about his bond. Let's go ahead, listen in live to that right here for you on Live Now from Fox.
The attorney is trying to send a message. That's their prerogative. But Your Honor's job is to decide what is a fair amount to guarantee his appearance and to guarantee that he is not a danger. It is not to inflame, which is what is occurring. What we need to do, Your Honor, is have a reasonable bail, as we've suggested, of $150,000, which is very high in these cases. Your court knows we've been involved in other situations where the bail has either been similar to that or slightly higher. It is, in my 40 years of experience, this request for $1 million is very excessive. We've pointed out to you his entire history, and we ask you, Your Honor, to balance what the state is asking for and our suggestion and make a reasonable setting. $150,000 is that reasonable setting, and we leave the final decision as to the amount to the court.
And I did want to follow up with you on that, counsel. I did receive a financial affidavit. So Mr. Ruggs has been interviewed by the Pretrial Services Division of the Las Vegas Justice Court. He did fill out a financial affidavit. There was very little information other than his employer as the National Football League, as an NFL player. Looks like one child, a 3-year-old, a local address. He did not list an income. You mentioned he's been released by the team, so and I believe we do have a representative from the National Football League here today. I don't believe I need to hear from that individual. But you indicated he's released from the team. What is his status with the National Football League?
My understanding is he's been let go by the Raiders, so he's no longer employed.
All right. Thank you. There's a number of factors that this court needs to consider in this case. The state has indicated they are filing additional charges that is consistent with my review of the allegations contained in the arrest report. The state's indicated they're adding a charge of DUI resulting in substantial bodily harm for the passenger. There was reference in the arrest report to injury suffered by the passenger here. The state indicated that a 23-year-old female is deceased as a result of this incident, and a dog. The dog was not mentioned in the arrest report. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. The arrest report did indicate a very reckless behavior, over 100 miles an hour in speed. The state indicated that this speed reached 156 miles per hour. The Chief Deputy Mr. Bauman indicated that's the highest speed. I cannot recall a speed that high in my career on the bench. The state's indicated there was a firearm. There may be additional charges arising out of possession of a firearm while under the influence. The state's indicated the potential penalty here, which is significant. If convicted, he would face, Mr. Ruggs would face a mandatory prison sentence in this case. I believe the DUI resulting in death would be punishable by 2 to 15 years in custody in prison. The reckless driving, I believe, is punishable by 1 to 6 years. There's these additional charges that the state mentioned in their arguments, the potential maximum penalty here. So that is a definite consideration, the reckless behavior, the allegations, the potential penalty, the very serious nature of this charge. I have to take into consideration that at the age of 22, Mr. Ruggs does not appear to have any criminal history whatsoever. This does appear to be his first arrest. So no conviction, no arrest history, no pending cases, no failures to appear. He has hired counsel. The counsel has submitted documents indicating his ties to this community, and I'm referring to the filing right now. His charitable contributions to the community. He does appear to have verified stability factors. Pretrial Services did verify local contacts. Taking all of this into consideration, some higher level of release conditions is necessary. I am requiring a financial condition of release. If he is able to make that financial condition, I am requiring the highest level of release conditions. I am setting a financial condition in this case in the amount of $150,000 cash or surety. If that is posted, Mr. Ruggs is ordered to the custody of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department electronic monitoring program, the highest level of electronic monitoring. Additionally, he is ordered to abstain from the consumption of alcohol, controlled substances, and any prohibited substances. I am ordering a SCRAM monitoring device be placed on his person in order to ensure compliance with that order before his release. He is ordered not to drive. He is ordered to surrender his passport to defense counsel until further order of the court. Now, Mr. Ruggs, I have set an amount lower than what the state is requesting. If you are able to post that amount, you are ordered onto the highest level of electronic monitoring. You must fully comply with all guidelines that this court has ordered today and any guidelines that the Electronic Monitoring Division of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department that they may give you. If you fail to comply with any conditions of release, you're very likely to be returned to custody in a number of ways. The bail bondsman may, if you post it through a bail bondsman, the bail bondsman may return you to custody if you're not complying with conditions of that individual's release. If you're not compliant with conditions of release, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Electronic Monitoring Division has the authority to return you to custody. If you're violating any conditions of release, the SCRAM Monitoring Division will notify the court of that. The court may violate your release, may revoke your release. You must obviously stay in contact with your defense attorneys, make any necessary court appearances. Again, if you fail to do these things, that would revoke your release. A warrant for your arrest could issue. With charges like this, you almost certainly would not be given another opportunity to proceed out of custody. Please treat these conditions quite seriously. Do you understand all the conditions of release, Mr. Ruggs? Right. With that, counsel, we can set a 2-day return date, or we can set a standard 1-week return date. How would you like to proceed?
1 week, please, Your Honor.
1 week?
Yes.
All right, we'll set a 1-week return date. If Mr. Ruggs is able to meet these release conditions, he's ordered to be present at this next court.
November 10th, 7:30, JC Department 13. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bellman.
Sure.
Once again, we were listening into this live here on Live Now from Fox. The former now NFL player, he was dropped by his team, the Raiders. It was his second year in the NFL. He was involved in that crash, just 22 years old, driving a Corvette that was going down the road just before 3:40 a.m. It does look like we may be getting some sound. Let's listen in here.
So I'm going to be focusing on this man. Okay? Okay. Who wants to go first?
Mr. Wilson, what can you tell us about the known facts of the crash? Speed, behavior. What do you know?
Well, let me start off by saying this is a very tragic and sad day in this community. A woman lost her life. Another person perhaps lost his career and is perhaps going to prison. This was a very, very ugly day yesterday morning.
How do you feel about the bail being set at $150,000 instead of $1 million?
A bail is determined by a judge, and the judge heard both arguments from both sides, and I respect the judge's decision.
Do you have any details on the victim as of right now?
I believe it's a 23-year-old female. I don't believe she's married or has children.
What messages does bring up that he hired a high-profile attorney, he has a clean record, but he will most likely make bail and be free until, he has to come back to court again?
Life is about choices. Mr. Ruggs made a choice. And the difficulty I have is there's so many alternatives. There's ride sharing. There's a designated driver. There's a taxi. There's so many alternatives. But Mr. Ruggs made a choice. And he's going to have to live with the consequences.
Sir, how's the family dealing with this right now? I know it's got to be extremely difficult.
I just met the family this morning. The family's torn apart, as anybody would be. This was a terrible, terrible collision. So they're mourning their loss. They're grieving. They're mad. They have all of the emotions you would think a family would have.
Have you heard anything about a race or racing, or do you think Mr. Ruggs was driving on his own? Do you know any of those facts?
This is an ongoing investigation. This accident, this collision, just occurred 2 days ago. So it's an open investigation. Metro's investigators are still investigating all of the facts. My understanding is there may have been other people with Mr. Ruggs earlier in the evening, and all of those things are going to be looked into.
Once again, we've been listening into this as there was that deadly crash that took place with Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III. He again was involved in this crash that did take the life of a 23-year-old female.